This is me.
Just kidding. This is me.
My name is Amanda, and welcome to my podcast where I will be talking about pop culture, music,
Film, drama, and fan videos. Hello and welcome back to my channel, Always Popular. I'm Amanda, your host, and let's get into this week's episode. This year of 2023 has been a big year for a lot of well-known names who were once the most popular and successful names of the 70s are now passing away. It's quite scary to think that all these people who had a big lasting impact are gone, from big names like Tony Bennett to Pee Wee Herman and now Bob Barker. This list of big names I sort of grew up with are now gone. Lastly, in the last weekend, this Labor Day, heaven gained another iconic singer and rocker, Jimmy Buffett. Surprisingly, Jimmy Buffett was only in his 70s and I didn't think he was that old. So today we are doing another tribute to a trailblazer. This is going to be on Jimmy Buffett, the Paradise Island King. Jimmy Buffett was born on December 25th, 1946 in Mississippi alongside his two younger sisters, Lucy and Lori. Born as James William Buffett, Jimmy was a well-known songwriter, musician, businessman, and author as well. When Jimmy was younger, as a child, he was exposed to sailing, which then later inspired his music. When attending college, his fraternity brother taught him how to play the guitar. Jimmy unfortunately couldn't handle doing school and handling girls at the same time, and he failed out of college. Eventually, he attended another college and finished with a bachelor's degree in history in 1969. After graduating, he moved to New Orleans and held street performances for drunken crowds on Bourbon Street. In 1970, he moved to Nashville, Tennessee to pursue country music while he was working as a journalist for Billboard magazine. He soon released his first debut album, Down to Earth, in August of 1970, and it only sold 324 copies, mainly because it had a limited initial appeal for the album. Unfortunately, he was unhappy with the business climate in Nashville, and then, by the time of 1973, Jimmy got signed to a new recording contract with ABC/Dunhill Records. He released his second and third album that had hit singles like Grapefruit, Why Don't We Get Drunk, and I Have Found Me a Home. In between 1974 to 1976, he released 4 more studio albums. Then his major 7th studio album, Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes, completely shifted his career. This album of his is still his best-selling album to date and has his biggest single being Margaritaville. This album ended the Key West phase he had styled from his previous albums, capturing the feel of the early 1970s. His song Margaritaville had a huge cultural significance back then, and it still does. Besides being his most famous and successful song, the song was so huge that it turned into a restaurant chain for casual dining in 1985. Margaritaville is a hospitality company that manages and then franchises his restaurant chain retail store, selling his themed merchandise along with hotels as well. Of course, it was headquartered and founded in Key West, Florida. Alongside all of this, he partnered with Outback Steakhouse to develop the first cheeseburger in Paradise, which was off his 8th album, Son of a Sailor. Jimmy's other massive song turned into a casual dining restaurant chain. Unfortunately, now it's a defunct restaurant. I actually got a chance to go to this restaurant when I was like 11 or so, and I loved it. Anyway, the fact that 2 of its biggest songs ended up as successful restaurants for over many years is really incredible, to say the least. Also, Margaritaville was expanded as an airline restaurant too, known as Air Margaritaville in certain locations at airports. Also, it was incorporated and made into hotels, casinos, and even a successful billion-dollar retirement village called Latitude Margaritaville in Daytona Beach, Florida. The impact of all this success, and with this album, turned him into a superstar, and he was considered an icon and put into icon status as a performer, restaurateur, entrepreneur, best-selling author, and celebrity. And besides that, his impact into the country music scene is just as impressive. He had a massive impact on people in country music, which is interesting considering I never thought of him as a country singer. For the past 2 decades, he was a major influence for other artists like Kenny Chesnick and many others. According to Rolling Stone, sonically, they owe their great depth to Jimmy Buffett, whose tropical vibes, beachy imagery, and ocean escapism has shaped the last 2 decades of mainstream country music. He became a symbol and became known as the king of island escapism for his laid-back and carefree sound. He had an interesting and unique sound which had fusions of country, Caribbean, and rock music. He embodied the funny, carefree lifestyle, and that's why many people loved his themes and projects. He had other well-known songs like It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere with Alan Jackson and Changes in Latitudes, Changes in Attitudes. It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere became an award-winning song which earned him his first CMA award for Vocal Event of the Year and became his first award in his 30-year career. He had also won an ACM award for Single of the Year and Vocal Event of the Year. Besides winning a few music awards, his music of course helped bring people together. His well-known fans also had a nickname which I wasn't aware of and apparently was like a cult brand of fans known in a unique way called the Parrot Heads, and even his fans had a unique way of communicating with each other. People would put the flat side of their hand on their head, making the shape of a shark fin and saying "fins up" to each other at shows. Honestly, I find that fun and cute. Can you imagine a group of adults doing that at a concert? In addition to all his influence and impact in music and hospitality, he was also a best-selling author as well. Over the years, he has won mainly ACMs, CMAs, and Grammys as well. He has released a whopping 30 studio albums, and his last album was released in May of 2020. He has also been in multiple cameos in TV and film as well. All of his albums, most of them are platinum or multi-platinum selling albums, and now he has officially sold over 20 million albums in his career. So go and support Jimmy now and stream his music. So Jimmy, I hope you're partying and having a margarita in heaven. You will truly be missed by millions. So fins up and sail away to paradise. Once again, thanks for listening and watching, and you'll hear me in the next episode.